my darlings. My name is Halia, and today I want to talk about the influence of Shakespeare within the Victorian era, particularly how it led to the popularization of the sad girl trope amongst Victorian writers. So let us do a deep dive. It is especially during the Victorian period in which Shakespeare transitions from a good playwright to being the god of English literature. During this time, Shakespeare's plays were performed more than any other playwrights, and thus his popularity amongst the Victorians also influenced the works of writers and artists at the time. Cordelia, Juliet, Lavinia, and Ophelia all are women within Shakespeare's tragedies, and most of their deaths are attributed not to themselves, but rather the poor decisions of their male counterparts.
I do something wrong.
However, because of their lack of control over their fates and them being often portrayed as passive characters, often ended up being romanticized by the writers and authors of the Victorian era. This sad woman archetype were glamorized for their immobility and voicelessness, key traits that were sought within the ideal Victorian woman, and this led to an obsession amongst writers such as Oscar Wilde, who were clearly influenced by Shakespeare's archetype sad girls. One of the extreme examples of Shakespeare setting the case of the sad girl trope amongst Victorians is through his character Ophelia. Amongst the Victorians, an obsession had emerged with tragedies of one offing themselves, and they were sensationally reported amongst the press. An article published in the Irish Quarterly Review of 1857 outlined how the excited curiosity that resulted from exposure to details of a well-publicized offing prompted people to visit the site of these individuals' passings. I really see that as entertainment. I think it's morally wrong, but okay. And after visiting such sites, many voyeurs would fall down the rabbit hole of so-called empathetic imagination, in which they would compare between cases and they would try to understand the motives and sensations of the victim. This inspired popular artists and writers to respond to this public desire with graphic depictions of fallen women offing themselves in various ways in popular novels, paintings, and prints. Now turning back to Shakespeare, this trend may be attributed to his romanticized depiction of Ophelia drowning amidst garlands of flowers, and also because the performance of Hamlet was so popular at the time, as well as John Millais' painting of Ophelia being publicly exhibited at the Royal Academy in 1852, which caused writers such as Thomas Hardy, Charles Dickens enthusiastically take up this trope and these themes. Much for following along, and I hope to see you guys next time.